Wednesday Ending Explained. The extremely anticipated show which focused on Wednesday Addams has hit Netflix, and it's safe to say that there was a lot at stake throughout the entirety of it. The identity of the monster, the history of Joseph Crackstone, along with the daunting drawing created 30 years ago which saw Wednesday being the very thing that brought Nevermore to its knees in the present day, were things that were at the core of this season. Well, it's safe to say that the ending finished off in a destination that I didn't expect, and it most certainly alluded to a second season being on the cards and all of what we just saw being the start of something a lot more sinister. So with that, I thought I'd recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from Wednesday. So let's get into it. Here is Wednesday Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. This show was focused around Wednesday Addams as she was transferred to Nevermore Academy, a school that contained groups of different outcasts, people that had special abilities. This was the very school that her mother and father went to when they were younger, and a place where Wednesday would most likely feel a little more comfortable, seeing as though there were other people like her around. However, we saw her attendance in this school unlock a dark past to her parents that she wasn't aware of, and realized that she was the key to reviving somebody who wanted to rid the world of outcasts a few hundred years ago. And this was one of the founding fathers of Jericho, the town in which Nevermore was located, Joseph Crackstone. There was a monster on the loose that was causing trouble in the town, and one of the main things that we as the audience were led to do whilst watching the show was guess who was behind it. After several episodes, we saw that the monster was revealed to be a Hyde, a type of outcast that essentially got activated and swore itself in loyalty to an individual, something that was banned from Nevermore 30 years ago. This turned out to be Tyler, Wednesday's love interest, which I didn't see coming at all. With a love interest, you do always think, could it be them? But I wasn't 100% sure. The bit I did see coming though was that Miss Thornhill was going to be the mastermind behind it all. There was a scene in episode 3 of the show where we saw her access the Nightshade Library, and we never saw it mentioned or referenced ever again, so it made me think that she most certainly wasn't the kind-hearted teacher that she was expressing herself as. She in fact turned out to be Laurel Gates, a descendant of one of the founding fathers, Joseph Crackstone, and the daughter to Ansel Gates, who was leading the way in getting rid of the outcasts 3 decades ago. She was presumed dead following the death of her brother, who was the person who Morticia killed but Gomez took the blame for, and ever since then she wanted to seek revenge, and continue not only her father's mission, but Crackstone's mission, which she didn't manage to do successfully, ultimately being defeated by Wednesday, Eugene, and the rest of Nevermore. I'm going to break this video down by the main character arcs in the show. Wednesday Addams. Wednesday was the key to all that we were seeing unfold, and we didn't even know it. Going all the way back to the drawing that Rowan's mother did 30 years ago, she foresaw the events that were set to unfold in the season finale. However, Rowan misinterpreted them. He viewed Wednesday as the bad person who was going to destroy the school, when in fact Wednesday was the very person that saved it when she put the blade through Crackstone's black heart. The blood of Wednesday, a descendant of Goody Addams who originally killed Crackstone, was required to revive him, and the body parts being taken from the victims that the Hyde was killing made sense when it was revealed to us. Wednesday's visions were key to what helped her along the way, and her ancestor Goody Addams healing her, which ultimately meant that she'd never return to her again, meant that she was able to revive, heal, and go on to save the day. Wednesday went on a real journey throughout the show. Starting as a lone ranger who cared for nobody else, we got to see a softer inside to an extremely tough exterior, even with tears being shed when Thing was injured, and constantly being by Eugene's side following on from him being harmed by the Hyde. The hug that Wednesday gave at the end felt like a real turning point for the character. She closed her eyes and embraced Enid, and you could feel the want to do so, especially off of the back of them saying how it's not really their thing. The character evolved, grew, and I felt the emotions that she felt when they did occur, because she was often so closed off. Her love interests of Tyler and Xavier was something that wound up being damaging to her. However, with Tyler being the Hyde and Xavier actually being a nice guy, I think we could see a relationship between Xavier and Wednesday start to blossom in season 2 of the show. With the text message that she received right at the end of the episode, it does make me wonder who her stalker is, and it most certainly showed us that the story is far from over for her. With Wednesday's abilities, along with her friends such as Eugene, Enid, Bianca, Xavier, and the rest of the Nightshade Secret Society, I feel we could see more of an ensemble piece next time round. She defeated Crackstone relatively easily once she had the guidance from Goody Addams and the assistance from Bianca, so I'd like to see more of a challenge next time round. Tyler. Tyler was essentially one of the main villains in the show. He was the monster, despite not truly wanting to be. Laurel, who disguised herself as Miss Thornhill, fed him information about his mother, information that he didn't know, and she used him to her advantage, ultimately showing him that he was a Hyde and then using a plant-derived chemical to essentially get him to transform and swear his loyalty to her. Tyler seemed like a nice guy right up until the final episode where it was revealed to us that he was the Hyde. His father knew that the day was one day coming, and in the final battle we saw him turn on his own son for the greater good. Right at the end, when we saw that Tyler was being detained, he transformed into the Hyde, and I imagine most likely broke free from the van, meaning he could well be on the loose. But realistically, how do you even get one of those under control? Principal Larissa Weems. Principal Weems was a character that in the end ultimately met her fate protecting the very thing that she loved more than anything else in the world, and that was the Nevermore Academy. She looked out for Wednesday throughout the entirety of the season, even though Wednesday was constantly undermining her and going against her orders. But she did pull through for her in the end, using her shapeshifting abilities for good, a twist that I most certainly didn't see coming. Although I did think Tyler changed his mood quite quickly from the last time that we saw him and it felt unnatural, but it being the principal made sense as to why. She used them for good rather than in the covering up of the death of a student in order to protect the school. Sadly, she did die. And I did think that it was a shame because I was a fan of the character. I did get the sense that she was envious of Wednesday's mother due to her ripping out the page of the yearbook and also the tone in which she spoke about her. So I do question if she's truly gone because I feel the seed was planted for a story later on down the line. Enid. Enid was the contrast to Wednesday and she was the perfect offset to level out the darkness that Wednesday emitted. Enid was going through her own personal battles herself in being relatively insecure, due to the fact that she hadn't become a full werewolf yet. Her mother was making her worry about it and pressuring her to go to camp, but we saw that she proved to be one of the vital pieces in the season finale in order to take down Tyler as the Hyde, and she contributed to saving the day, and ultimately became a fully fledged werewolf. Wednesday took care of Crackstone with Bianca, and Enid took care of Tyler. Their friendship was something that I enjoyed watching on screen, and I feel contributed to the changing of Wednesday as the episodes went on. I thought this show was really good. I liked the supernatural element as it was something that I didn't really expect to be leaned in on as heavily as what it was. Jenna Ortega absolutely smashed this role, and the lack of emotion and absolute bluntness was cold to witness, but also humorous at points. The pacing was perfect with it being 8 episodes long. It was enough time to hear about the overarching plot and the seamless connection to all of the minor stories that were going on without getting lost or experiencing fatigue. Whilst there was a lot of action, humour, and glossy, easy-on-the-eye shots, the main thing that I'm taking away from this is the character development. The Wednesday Addams we left is not the same as the one we were first introduced to in episode 1 of the show, and I feel like we really got to know the character despite the closed book attitude that she held. I'd recommend giving this show a watch because it was original, engaging, and had a story that had you constantly guessing what was going to happen next. So, there you have it. Wednesday Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this show? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.